I got our design manager at work today. LOL.
Share needles or pens or reuse needles. Don't take if you or your family had MTC, MEN2, or if allergic to it. Stop taking and get medical help right away if you get a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, or any of these allergic reactions. Tell your provider if you plan to have surgery or a procedure, are breastfeeding, pregnant, or plan to be. Serious side effects may include inflammation of pancreas, gallbladder problems, or changes in vision. Call your prescriber if you have any of these symptoms. Taking with a sulfonylurea or insulin may increase low blood sugar risk. Common side effects include nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, stomach pain, constipation. Some side effects lead to dehydration, which may worsen kidney problems. Living with type 2 diabetes?
Ask about the power of 3 with Ozempic.
If you take or have taken Humira for moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis and still have symptoms, you don't have to settle. Ask your gastroenterologist if switching to Rinvoq is right for you. It's one of the latest treatments from the makers of Humira. Rinvoq works differently than Humira and may help. Rinvoq is a once-daily pill that can deliver rapid symptom relief, lasting steroid-free remission, and helps visibly reduce damage of the intestinal lining.
Rinvoq can lower ability to fight infections. Before treatment, test for TB and do blood work. Serious infections, blood clots, some fatal. Cancers, including lymphoma and skin. Serious allergic reactions, GI tears, death, heart attack, and stroke occur. CV event risk increases in age 50 plus with a heart disease risk factor. Tell your doctor if you've had these events. Infection, Hep B or C, smoked, are pregnant, or planning. Don't take if allergic or have an infection.
Rapid symptom relief and lasting steroid-free remission are possible with Rinvoq. Ask your gastroenterologist if switching to Rinvoq is right for you. You could pay as little as $0 per month.
Nature knows best. That's why New Chapter Vitamins follows her example with key vitamins, minerals, herbs, and whole food ingredients. Crafted to work with your body. Bringing the power of nature into your new chapter.
Work. Play. Blink. Relief. Work. Play. Blink. Relief.
The only 3-in-1 extended relief formula for dry eyes.
Blink.
Yoo-hoo! You're making everything worse.
We're showing you Consumer Cellular gets great coverage.
We use the same towers as Big Wireless, so you get the same coverage.
Wow.
For unlimited talk and text, reliable coverage starting at just $20. Call or visit Consumer Cellular.
Meet Milo. He's part border collie and part party animal. This a little green hydro steam pet. It's part steam-powered stain remover and part party animal patrol. Bissell, a new breed of clean.
Oh no!
Our water line broke. It could cost a fortune to get a contractor to come fix it, and it's not covered by homeowners insurance.
That's why you should have HomeServe.
It's an emergency. HomeServe.
Your water line breaks, HomeServe sends a qualified contractor to fix it and pays for the covered repairs.
With HomeServe, the American dream of owning a home doesn't need to be a nightmare.
Plans from HomeServe start at just $4.99 a month.
Call 1-888-246-2612 or visit homeserve.com.
I'm a dog. I may not have 9 lives, but I sure live like I do. Thankfully, with my Spot Pet insurance plan, my owners get up to 90% cash back on covered vet bills. They also got it for the new guy there. Good boys like us rack up some bad vet bills. Spot plans help my owners focus on our care, not the cost. It's no wonder Spot is America's most loved pet insurance. Play with them now, new guy. You're gonna miss them. Choose Spot for affordable pet plan options you both will love.
You've heard of Black Friday, of course, but get ready for Blackout Friday. A grassroots social media campaign is now urging Americans not to spend any money today to remind corporations of their buying power. This goal is, according to activists, to protest corporate greed and the rollback of DEI initiatives from companies and the Trump administration. And they say more boycotts are coming. NBC News business and data correspondent Brian Chung's following all this. Okay, 24 hours, no spending. Do we know how this came to be and what they're really hoping to accomplish?
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, it was grassroots. So there was a man named John Schwartz. He's a Midwesterner who started posting and saying, hey, why don't we all agree to not shop at these major corporations on one day?
Just an everyday person.
Just an everyday person saying today, February 28th, and he's been teeing this up for months, and here we are. Now on February 28th, the rules of this essentially are to, for whole day, no purchases online or in store, no shopping at the large likes of Amazon, Walmart, Best Buy, no fast food, no gas, no supporting any major company. And if you absolutely have to do necessary spending, to do it at local businesses and to do it in cash. Now, I know what the natural question here is, will this have any sort of impact on these companies? The founder, again, John Schwartz of this group, saying probably not. It probably won't do anything to these companies, but he's planning a kind of a schedule of these types of boycotts where after this one day, he's basically breaking in all these activists and then saying there are going to be these week-long protests at specific retailers and businesses like Amazon, Nestle. They make a lot of packaged water, as well as Walmart on these specific days. He's hoping that this is going to turn out into a big movement, and it's catching some steam. We've even seen some churches advocating, as Ash Wednesday begins next week, to actually practice Lent by not shopping at the likes of Target for 40 days. So again, a lot of this is because of the backlash to the DEI reversals at some of these companies, where you see Target, for example, saying, you know what, we're going to pare back some of these DEI initiatives in this current environment, obviously with what the White House and President Trump have been saying about DEI. But again, this is very much what could be the beginning of a possible nationwide movement. The question is, does this actually impact the businesses? Previous episodes have suggested maybe not.
Well, sends a message, that's for sure.
Exactly.
We'll be following to see what happens. Thanks so much, Brian Chung. Up next on Ana Cabrera Reports, Doral, Florida is home to a big Trump club and 400,000 Venezuelan migrants. How it's become a new front line in Trump's immigration fight. And going for gold. It's almost Hollywood's biggest night. Who could walk away with some new hardware?
This is the Emirates Premium Economy seat. Economy. Perhaps they need to call it something else.
I'm Howie Mandel, the newest.
If any MAGA jerk scratches your car for that, I will take care of it.
Ambassador of Skechers. Funny story how I became an ambassador. I went to the store and I lied and said I was an ambassador. Do I get a discount? The owner called me and said, would you like to be an ambassador for Skechers? And I said, yes. Try Skechers slip-ins.
Prilosec knows. For a fire, 1 fire extinguisher beats 10 buckets of water. And for zero heartburn, 1 Prilosec a day beats taking up to 10 antacids a day. It's that simple. For 24-hour heartburn relief, 1 beats 10. Prilosec OTC.
To all those who never give a second thought to being the first ones in, thank you. ServPro, proud supporter of our nation's...
Just be glad I didn't use the tape I was thinking about putting on there to make sure it didn't blow away.
First responders.
I did spare you some headache. As I wasn't about to do anything to hurt your baby.
Right now, across the U.S., people are trying to ban books from public schools and public libraries. Yes, libraries.
We all have a First Amendment right to read and learn different viewpoints. That's why every book belongs on the shelf.
Yet book banning in the U.S. is worse than I've ever seen. It's people in power who want to control everything. Well, I say no to censorship.
And I say yes to freedom of speech and expression.
If you do too, please join us in supporting the American Civil Liberties Union today.
For over 100 years, the ACLU has fought for your rights and mine, including the right to read all manner of books. So please, call or go online to myaclu.org. For just $19 a month, only 63 cents a day, you can become a guardian of liberty and help protect all the rights promised to us by the U.S. Constitution. Make no mistake, this move to ban books is a coordinated attack on students' right to learn. This is a clear violation of free speech.
That's why the ACLU is working to fight against censorship in all its forms. It is so important, now more than ever.
So please call or go to myACLU.
We have AT&T internet backup.
The next level network for small business.
Things and ignore everything else.
Also joining us right now is Garrett, who is at the White House. Garrett, what is the White House saying ahead of this meeting?
Well, Anna, this will be interesting because the president's tone has changed dramatically on President Zelensky over the past several years and over the past several days. The two had a very positive relationship during the first Trump administration, despite the impeachment that centered on Ukraine. And the president had been working with Ukrainians, at least in theory, on this minerals deal until last week when he made this comment about Zelensky being a dictator. Then, yesterday, during the visit of the British Prime Minister, the president took a much warmer tone towards Zelensky, suggesting that they can, in fact, work together on this critical minerals deal and seeming to back away from that comment. Take a little bit of a listen to what the president said yesterday that may be setting the table for today.
We're going to be signing really a very important agreement for both sides because it's really going to get us into that country. We'll be working there. We'll have a lot of people working there. And so in that sense, it's very good. It's a backstop, you could say. I don't think anybody's going to play around if we're there with a lot of workers.
Still think that Mr. Zelensky is a dictator?
Did I say that? I can't believe I said that. Next question.
And of course, you did say that.
I said
and
that.
I think part of this matters because somewhat uniquely to this president, and Donald Trump is just incredibly relationship focused when it comes to conducting foreign policy. He wants to get along with the person who's sitting in front of him. When he does so, he's more effective. It's why you see foreign leaders plan for these visits the way they do. That's why you see them heap compliments on President Trump the way they do. Volodymyr Zelensky knows that as well as anybody, and I expect we'll see a lot of that same dynamic in their various appearances here together at the White House today.
Ambassador McFall, you just heard those comments from President Trump yesterday, asked about calling Zelensky a dictator, and I quote, "Did I say that? I can't believe I said that." What do you make of that apparent?
possible fast charging.
Surprised when they see it. There's not a lot of substance here. It's all aspirational. But Zelensky used that moment to say, I want to sign it with you personally, President Trump. He's the one that wanted to come to Washington so that he could get in the room with the president, because he understands that that is the way you do business with Donald Trump.
What do you make, Igor, of this change in tone when it comes to Trump's characterization of President Zelensky?
It was expected. I mean, it's all a show. Like, look, as I said, you have to separate the emotional and the theatrics from the actual things that are happening. There are two important things happening that we're kind of not seeing because of all the theatrics. First of all, yes, it is a good deal because it's vague, and it all comes down to further deals that will be kind of, additional to this deal. So the details will be in the next deal. That's really important, and that's when the next round of negotiations will actually happen, and I expect to see a lot more theatrics when that is happening. Secondly, from the Trump's tone of voice, I'm sensing that he's not getting what he was expecting to get from Russia. Hence, he pivots slightly to Ukraine, and we see that kind of little detente in his rhetoric. But I think it's a great thing that they're going to be in the room together. I think this deal is a great story for both countries.
So, Garrett, what type of minerals does Ukraine have that the U.S. is interested in? And do we know any specifics about this potential?
But the second thing about the security guarantees, just two things for a minute. If there's trillions of dollars of these minerals in Ukraine, why haven't they been mined before? This idea that they've been sitting on all this wealth and they've never done it. I'm a little skeptical that it's going to be so easy to create all this wealth. But second, and the most important part, Ukraine needs real security guarantees, not business people, not businesses, not miners and their security guards. That is insufficient. Moreover, those companies are not going to invest billions of dollars for years and years and years. We're talking about mining, right? We're not talking about sandwiches shops where you can come in and out. They're not going to invest that unless there is security. So there's a real chicken and egg problem here. And I support the agreement. I think it's a step in the right direction. But the idea that it's going to serve in lieu of peacekeepers or a membership to NATO, I think I'm very skeptical of that.
Well, former Ambassador Michael McFaul, Igor Novikov, thank you both. Our thanks to Garrett Hake as well for his reporting. Up next, new Doge cuts impacting hundreds of weather forecasters as Elon Musk's agency faces mounting legal pressure. And we'll talk with a top Democrat on the House Doge subcommittee about her efforts to get more transparency. Plus, the looming immigration crackdown outside the gates of Trump Doral in Florida, the hundreds of thousands that could be impacted. And a new measles case in Washington state. Could having RFK Jr. in charge during this health crisis create problems for the president? We're back in 90 seconds.
We're all looking for some place to call home. But first you need a place to look for a place to call home. And that's homes.com because it's the best.
I told you, you cannot legally say homes.com is the best.
What if she says it as Morgan Freeman? Homes.com. I can get this. Home.com.
No.
Well,
Supercharger has been updated. I have to get some stickers made up. Make that a little bit more efficient.
In these places where these are people who are charged with warning people about hurricanes and tornadoes and nor'easters and all these sorts of weather systems, for example, that can result in large numbers of deaths, there's concern about that workforce being cut to a point where they can't do warning like they need to.
Aaron Gilchrist, thank you for bringing us the latest. Joining us now is the top Democrat on the House DOGE subcommittee, Congresswoman Melanie Stansbury of New Mexico. Congresswoman, thank you for taking the time. There's this ruling from the judge overnight saying there's no way DOGE and the Office of Personnel Management can decide who to fire and hire inside these other agencies. Do you think that'll stop them?
Well, obviously, we've seen that Donald Trump does not abide by the law. However, I think it's been very clear since day one that this administration is breaking administrative law, it's breaking constitutional separation of powers, it's breaking statutory law, it's breaking appropriations law, and it's breaking personnel laws. And I think the courts have upheld this at almost every step of the way, and we're going to continue to fight them in the courts.
In a separate lawsuit, we now know at least one DOGE staffer will be deposed. It will be the first time someone involved with DOGE will answer questions under oath from an attorney outside the government. I know you've been trying to get a lot of questions answered. You have asked that Elon Musk come and testify, but if you had a chance to talk to this staffer, what questions would you ask?
Well, I think we really need to understand what's happening inside of DOGE. We have no transparency whatsoever. Even though Elon Musk keeps claiming that there's maximum transparency, they've uploaded a couple of, receipts on Twitter and a website, but that is not transparency. The federal government has a ton of laws that require reporting, reports to Congress, appearing before Congress, Senate confirmation, and none of those normal institutional processes have been followed. So we want to know who's in charge, what are they doing, why are they doing it, what authority are they using, and do they actually understand how opposed the American people are? Because people both in the White House and here in this building in the GOP seem to think that they can will this into being something that the American people want, and it's very clear from the polling they don't.
We've heard from Elon Musk inside the Oval Office, but are Americans any closer to hearing from him under oath?
Yeah, I mean, listen, that was a staged, bizarre display, both inside the Oval Office and the cabinet room. I have never seen anything like that in the history of this country, where you have an outside, unelected, unvetted billionaire standing behind a bunch of Senate-confirmed cabinet secretaries, lecturing them, and then the president asks if anyone's concerned about what he's doing. We know from our GOP colleagues, I talked to many on the floor this week, the Republicans are opposed to what he's doing, but they're afraid that if they stick their heads up, they raise their hand, and they talk about it publicly, they're going to get their heads chopped off.
I fixed the Tesla Supercharger sign.
And I think we've all had that boss where we're afraid to say what we're actually thinking, and it was very clear inside that cabinet room what was going on.
If we just zoom into the latest cuts we have learned about, NOAA staffers laid off, including weather forecasters, meteorologists who provide critical information locally through the National Weather Service. This is right out of the Project 2025 playbook. Moves like this, or like gutting the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Who does that help?
Well, that is the question, isn't it? You know, all across this country, literally millions of Americans are protesting in the streets. They're showing up to town halls. They're saying this is not what we voted for. This is not what we want. And it's hurting real Americans. In my district, we had teachers at a tribal school who were literally told in the middle of the school day in their classrooms in front of students that they were underperformers and escorted off of campus. These are teachers who have taught for almost 40 years. What they're doing is decimating the federal government. They're attacking teachers, veterans, firefighters, people who have dedicated their lives to public service. This isn't about helping the American people. It's about looting the federal government, giving Elon Musk private contracts, data mining Americans' data, and it's harming the people of this country.
Congresswoman, we also just learned a top DOJ spokesperson is now resigning due to a, quote, hostile and toxic work environment. Already, numerous DOJ officials have resigned in protest. 21 career staffers at DOJ resigned in protests. The administration's posture on this has been basically good riddance. That's what they want people to do. They're trying to downsize. What's your advice to civil servants right now who are dedicated to the work, who care deeply about this country, but want to resign?
You know, I'm not in a position to tell people what decisions they should make about their careers, but I want our federal workers to know that Democrats are fighting for them, that we stand with them, and that they have rights. And so if they are considering a move in their career, talk to your union, talk to a lawyer, call your congressperson, and let us know how we can help and support you. But we need our federal civil service. So stay strong. We've got your backs. And the retaliation and abuse that you're enduring right now is illegal and abusive, and we're not going to stand for it.
Democratic Congresswoman Melanie Stansbury, appreciate your time. Thank you very much for joining us. Up next here on Ana Cabrera reports why investigators in New Mexico are now saying legendary actor Gene Hackman's death is, quote, suspicious. Plus, growing outbreak, measles now rearing its head in Washington state. As the virus spreads, are we all going to need measles boosters?
Home is where we do the things we love with the people we love. Celebrating, sharing, living. So why should aging mean we have to leave that in the past? What if we lived tomorrow in the same place as we did yesterday? What if we stayed home instead? With help, we can. Home instead for a better what's next.
Are you having any fun? What you getting out of living? Who cares for what you've got if you're not having any fun? Have a little fun.
Sometimes my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis gets in my way. But thanks to Skyrizi, I'm free to bare my skin.
They know their Bhattacharya's. Legal Director of Georgetown Law's Institute for Constitutional Advocacy and Protection. I know her as the individual who took over administrating the 9/11 Drug Act Victims Compensation Healthcare Fund for 9/11 first responders and all the people that lived down at Ground Zero and Pennsylvania, the Pentagon. So, deep state. She is deep state. And I'm going to take it to her ass. But first, today, the United Nations marked the 3rd anniversary of the invasion of Ukraine by doing the only thing the United Nations can do, passing a non-binding resolution asking Russia to please stop. Please. Take that, Putin. Interesting, though. Spring fully formed out of a primordial cracker barrel. I just love the film. But Doge is Jedi-level shit, man.
The FDA is looking to rehire around 300 people. The Trump administration will reverse staffing cuts to the 9/11 Health Fund.
Hundreds of workers at the National Nuclear Security Administration fired, then nearly all rehired days later.
The Veterans Affairs Department reinstated terminated employees, and the USDA is rescinding termination letters sent to people working on the response to bird flu.
When I said you were criminal parasites, I obviously wasn't referring to I have the bird flu. Come back to work. Please. But that's fine. Staffing is only part of the Doge mission. There's other crazy shit we can cut.
We don't need to be wasting money on ridiculous items like seeing how fast shrimp can run on treadmills.
$1.5 million to see the effect of yoga on goats.
$1 million to study Mexican ducks in their wetland facilities.
Studies on the effect of meditation on parrots.
Nearly $1 million to study if cocaine makes Japanese quail more sexually promiscuous.
Go with yes on that last one. I feel that I, not a scientist, can very confidently state pre-experiment, if you are a Japanese quail with an 8-ball, you are getting your cloaca sucked. Oh. So good. If true,
a closer look.
Doge is adding to dead people, a claim that turned out to not be. Want to be an accountant starter kit, so I got it off of Amazon for $5,000. My accountant told me not to get it. So we're looking to save taxpayers some money, and I know. Let me think. We got the studies that are done, or how about we just take $3 billion in subsidies we give to oil and gas companies that already turn billions in profits? How long did that take? Oh, wait. How about we just close down the carried interest loophole on hedge funds? That's $1.3 billion a year. Oh, how about we stop the $2 trillion we've given to defense contractors to build a fighter jet that blows when everybody knows the next war is going to be fought with drones and blockchain, whatever that is. Holy shit! I can't believe it. I just saved us billions of dollars in 11 seconds. Just call me Big Ball of an infection in our perineum. Of your money. Oh, what do we get, 10% of your company? No. Do we get a discount? The privilege to negotiate the price of 10 of their drugs? And 10 is all of them, right? It would be embarrassing if it was a small drop in the bucket and that the American people didn't expect that we should negotiate for all their f***ing drugs because we've already paid for them with our subsidies. Come on! Going to the hospitals. What we subsidize with billions of dollars are allowing us the privilege to negotiate the price of 10 of their drugs? And 10 is all of them, right? It would be embarrassing if it was a small drop in the bucket and that the American people didn't expect that we should negotiate for all their f***ing drugs because we've already paid for them with our subsidies. Come on! Going to the hospitals. What we do with pharmaceutical companies is like the worst Shark Tank deal in f***ing history. Well, we're asking for billions of dollars of your money. Oh, what do we get, 10% of your company? No. Do we get a discount? No. What do we get? Have you checked your perineum? We live in the upside down, and don't blame the corporations. They are profit-seeking psychopaths that need the lowest wages and the cheapest raw materials to drive their highest profits. But why do we, the taxpayers, subsidize their psychopathy? That's the waste, fraud, and abuse in our system. That's it. That's what we should be going after. Not the fantastical, overgenerous terrorist condom allowances.
In another program, $50 million plus another $50 million for condoms for Hamas. You know about that? $100 million for condoms. Condoms. Does everybody know what a condom is?
You delivering this speech in an elementary school? Why wouldn't they know what condoms are? Look, capitalism is by definition exploitative. It's how it operates. That's fine. But then government's role should be to ease the negative effects on Americans of that exploitation, not subsidize that treachery with our money. We're getting f***ed at a Diddy party, and they're making us buy the baby oil. Look, man,